Erik ten Hag has a decision to make. Rest Bruno Fernandes or stick to the usual script and hope for different results as we do invite Tottenham to the theatre of dreams. What exactly is bound to happen? My name is Webb. Welcome to the United of Sport. And after Arsenal showing us what they call metal, I believe Erik ten Hag will want to learn a thing or two from how Mikel Arteta rotates his team. I hope he does this because in this video, I'm going to dwell a lot on what changes I hope Erik ten Hag can make in our game against Tottenham. The last meeting was a beautiful one for me. I think it was quite an experience because I was at Old Trafford as we were held to a 2-2 draw by Tottenham. In that game, Marcus Rashford set up Rasmus Højlund, who scored a bullet of a strike at OT. I think it was his first OT goal. It was quite an interesting game, the first game of this year, and it's quite nostalgic for me. But I hope we do get to win. I won't be there this time, but I'm hoping for some changes in the team. Listen, guys, Bruno Fernandes, and I won't use the word benching him because that sounds a bit disrespectful to our captain. I will call it resting him. Listen, Bruno played the most minutes for Man United last season, which was understandable. This season, Bruno is among the top 4 players who have played the most minutes in the English Premier League. Diogo Dalot, Andre Onana and Kobe Mainoo are the only ones who have played a little more than him. Dalot has played for 50 minutes, understandably, because there are no backups for Dalot. Of course, we know that we've welcomed back the return of Tyrell Malaysia in training, but he's not yet 100% fit. We are not certain he will be ready to play. We are hoping he will be back soon, but certainly not tomorrow for the Tottenham game. So Dalot will have to endure and play more minutes. Though I think when the options come, he will also need to rest a bit. Andre Onana, goalkeepers always don't get so much rest. I'm just not happy that Erik ten Hag kept playing Andre Onana in all the other games, but I think Paindil now has started getting his chances. Kobe Mainoo in the middle, he's a young player. He has played 444 minutes. The other two, Andre Onana and Dalot, have played for 50. Bruno, who is 30, has played 439 minutes already. Now, I will understand with all the other players, with Kobe because he's a young, but I also think he needs rest as a kid himself. But Bruno is 30. He does not have the muscle, the sharpness of a 19-year-old Kobe or the endurance of a 19-year-old Kobe. Erik ten Hag has got to make a rotation, and the beauty is that he has got the options now. You see, the last season when Bruno was playing every game, we had no options in the middle, and the games he sat out were big struggles for Man United. Right now, in the middle, we've got a Christian Eriksen, who I think right now can be a better number 10 than Bruno. We've seen it. We've seen sort of a semblance of how his sharpness in the recent games where Bruno has been dead. So my thinking is Erik ten Hag should be starting Christian Eriksen as a 10 because he doesn't fancy playing Kobe as a 10. Okay, keep Kobe playing next to Ugarte as the 2 sitting behind the 10, who is Christian Eriksen. Start Højlund up top, have Garnacho and Ahmad in the wings. Let's see how it goes against Tottenham. Because the thing is, Tottenham have got a few players who can use the ball. You don't match talent with work rate. They have got a few skillful players in that team. You don't match them with work rate. You match skill with skill. And when you talk skill at Man United, you're talking Kobe, you're talking Christian Eriksen, you're talking Garnacho, you're talking Ahmad. These are players who can match the game that Tottenham can bring at us at Old Trafford. And of course, I do remember that the last Old Trafford game, Marcus Rashford had a good game. He was, I think, the best player. He was Man United's best player in that game. But whereas it is, and usually Erik ten Hag wants to recall such, and bring in his Rashford, I think for me, Garnacho and Ahmad are our best options in the flanks, given the fact that Garnacho will always, and he has been making better decisions this season, fewer minutes, better decisions, which for me is the whole point. That the issue I had with him. So for me, what Garnacho does is his confidence to take on defenses is always going to keep them in their half. The right back of Tottenham will not be allowed freedom to come and add to the attack to make those overlapping runs because he knows there is a busy Garnacho playing on the left flank, who or on his end, who will make life difficult for them if he gets a small window like this to exploit. So for me, I think that's a change Eriksen Hag should make. Have the boldness and confidence to rest Bruno Fernandes, no matter him being the captain. Rest him because he needs it. He needs to be fresh a bit for us to see a semblance of him. And we will never get to see the Bruno we saw a couple of years ago. I feel like the best Bruno was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't think we'll see him again, but I think we can rest him and rotate him and still get good performances out of him when he's on the pitch. For me, that's my honest opinion. In terms of the back line, I think Delete and Lisandro Martinez, I think, and Dalot and Nusral Mazraoui have made it clear now. I think they're our starting back line. That's our starting back four. And that's not where the issue is. And I will credit Erik Ten Hag for solving most of the back line problems we had. But the issue is still in the middle. The reason why because 5 goals conceded are not so many. But the issue, the reason we are struggling to score is because of the midfield. So sort the midfield. And I believe he can do it if he has the boldness to touch Bruno. Because for me, Bruno and the organization of the midfield is the biggest weak link at Man United currently. Because Bruno is the captain and he has to be there almost for all games. It's like a birthright because he's the captain. I think Erik Ten Hag is forced to want to put him there, even when he sees that Ugarte, Kobe, and Christian Eriksen in training are performing better than him. So he ends up having to sacrifice an Eriksen or an impressive Eriksen pushed in played out of position and just to accommodate Bruno. I think for me that's where the problem is. The first thing I expect to see tomorrow is Bruno being rested. When that happens, I think Man United will have a good chance. And I think even if it doesn't work, by the way, I will not be here and saying, blaming myself because it didn't work. I feel we are at that stage where we need to try out things because we've done the same things for way too long. Whereas there's been improvements, they have been subtle, yet with a few changes in the midfield, which I think is a critical area for Erik Ten Hag, and if he has to touch it, yet it has always been his biggest weakness, if you ask me. I think if he touched it with the players available now, Man United would look like a whole different beast. Mikel Arteta does it with his midfield. He always keeps tinkering with it, depending on the opponent. Ten Hag, depending on who we are playing, does not tilt things depending on who we are playing. He tilts things depending on who is available. When they're all available, he's so predictable. One trick pony. And one trick ponies don't get different results. My name is Webb. Let me know what you think. Whether you think Bruno Fernandes should be rested against Tottenham at Old Trafford. Like, share, and subscribe. And let me catch you later.